most likely we're going to revisit. But if you take a look at this, right, as we're going up, right, as we're going up, the volume is really, know, not that great. And you can check that, right? If you move this to below pane, you can kind of see how many shares of volume we've had for each day, and then you can see as well, right? So this is ES, number of contracts, and you can do the same with SPY, right? And take a look, it should be around 63 is average or so, so they're right above the average here so far. But then you can see not many days on this run up have we had a lot of volume besides the ones that are here. So it'll be fairly interesting to see what they do, right? Actually, today's candle and this, before this ETH run looked pretty bearish, right? But we're approaching some critical levels, and then ultimately they rocketed higher from there. I think it was the news of NVIDIA, maybe it was even the news on the rate cuts that we were seeing. So nonetheless, we're just ripping, right? So I'll be very careful tomorrow actually trading in the beginning, right? Because there's going to be some fake out moves to get people out of positions and rebalancing. So I'll be very, very careful on sizing tomorrow. Let's see. I think, and this is the shitty part about, when you have administration and the news and everything that happens, is a lot of times your technical analysis really get thrown out of the door because uh, they don't matter really. It's basically about the tweets and what they do here. So let me see. Our 3 hours are we above this? We're right there. So this is the balance that we're in, guys, right? So we basically went, outside the balance. We went way below here, 5,700. We came back and then we bounced much higher. So ultimately, I would think they're gonna go here. It's important to see that they get acceptance above here. We don't want to, start losing this tomorrow. And if that's the case, then maybe fade the move here. But we have to be careful because overnight, I think this was a pretty good gap. I think it was over what? It was going to be over 100 points. Let's see what we got. So 925, not that bad. They're talking about 78 points move overnight. So it's going to be pretty hard to play it tomorrow. Especially if we open above these single prints here and we open in this area, we got to wait to get us a sign of something, right? Ultimately, we want them above this zone here, the gray area. That's important. And if you guys look to the right, a little bit to the left, sorry. This is the ultimate, the penthouse that we talked about. Is there certain levels that we can find here? Yeah. If you look at the VP here on the right, there's a lot of volume here being shared. There's a lot of acceptance in this area. So it's important to see, do they get accepted here or do we get rejected? And typically what I would like to do here in this area is find out where is this POC here, right? So if you guys look here, so in this area, the POC is sitting, let's see, let's mark it. Okay, I'm never going to get it perfectly. So about 630 is the sell-off POC, meaning that we accumulated this at this fair price and then we went lower to it. And if this is our value area of that one here, I would pay attention to that, see if you're able to reclaim that. That's why today I mentioned that 59.40 was fairly important level. So let's see what happens here. Does the POC shift or not? So this POC shifts quite a bit here, all the way to 698. This comparison. Yeah, 630 is going to be fairly important. But we'll keep an eye on this one, and then also, of course, the value area highs somewhere around here, 6104. So this is going to be a pretty crucial area here for them. And then, of course, they have all-time highs and the 4 highs at the top. So I think we're going to be out of balance on pretty much every time frame, considering if this holds overnight. Let's see what the weekly says. Yeah, we're basically out of balance on everything here. There should be a VPOC here somewhere. Yeah. The only VPOC is sitting all the way to 625 on a weekly. I thought there was also a monthly VPOC, but maybe I'm not remembering stuff. Yeah. So that's the one all the way up top. It's right here. So this will be the monthly VPOC that might carry some weight, but ultimately they're going to clean up that or high. There's going to be a lot of late bulls coming in. So what does this look like when you guys zoom out on higher time frames? What does this look like to you guys? What we're seeing right now? Anyone?
Acceptance of the penthouse.
Yeah,
That's what they retain.
this is our final stage, right? This is our final go, and we talked about this, right? If you're able to reclaim this, there's a high chance that ultimately you're going to go to all-time highs, right? So right now, you're just back in that range, right? And until you're rejected out of it, right? And then if you zoom out on a smaller window here, you'll have this one here. And basically, they're just seeking acceptance now here. They're above it. They went below this one, and now, they're inside of it. So that's the case. And I'm pretty sure if you go on daily, actually, you'll be able to see something similar. So on the daily, you also have a little bit of a range here. So if you guys look at this, you can go here. Okay, this is the case, but I think it's better if you go on like 8 hours here. So now you see this range, right? And that level that we talked about moments ago, like 59.87. If you look at this, look where we are. Do you understand? Does everybody understand why this level is fairly important for us?
Right in the middle.
Well, it's right in the middle of this zone, right? And if you can find acceptance about this, guys, the odds that we're going to go to all-time highs are pretty damn high, right? So tomorrow you want to watch, right? When you think about these nodes that we have, so there's a high volume node that you have like right here, 626. So if you're able to go above this, and now you can zoom in and see that this is the final low range that we are in at the top, right? So if I don't extend this guy, change the color, right? So this is the final one that we accumulated and we dumped from, right? They tried to save it here, but failed. So now this is the zone where, you want to be somewhat careful between 5989 and 626. That's 30 points, but in bigger scheme of things, right? This is not a lot. So if they peak above and tomorrow they fail, don't be surprised if there's some really bad news coming and we auction back all the way down here. Because a lot of people were bearish here, right? And a lot of people are going to be bullish here. And if this is a true bracket that we are trading, that's not a spot for you to initiate necessarily longs. And I would just pay attention to volume. Volume should be pretty telling tomorrow on how we're doing. Of course, if you look at this volume here after hours, sure, is there a little bit of volume here? Yeah, but it doesn't mean much on ETH, right? This was mainly driven by the news, in my opinion. So we'll see. So how would I play it tomorrow? I mean, obviously, the PDH is going to be fairly important where we are. So this is the PDH right here. Let me find this one. So this one is going to be sitting somewhere around, I think it was 52 or something like that. So 52, and I doubt that they're going to come back to that level, honestly. I don't think they're going to come back to it, but if they do give us a retest of 52, I think this is your setup for a long. Does that make sense? And this is in your, in your class. It's one of the setups. Does everybody recall what that is? Remember when you open above the value, below PDH?
Open test drive.
Well, this one is your opening above, right? You're opening above the range, and your key setup is that you cannot lose PDH.
Yeah.
And if they do that, open test drive could be one of the setups that you look for. I think it would be, open, test, and go, and that's what you want to see. So it would look like, let's say they open here, the auction come back and they come here, and that becomes a long, and then you're targeting 87 and 626 ultimately on this grind. Be very careful if they lose this level tomorrow. If they go above it, open above it, and they quickly lose this 87, and we see a lot of sellers on the footprints, like aggressive sellers coming in, that's a very good sign that whoever was short here on this break, they're most likely, getting killed, and they're going to get killed here as well. And people that went long here, they're looking short above the value, right? So I would watch out for this. I think, if I remember there was I don't have it now, but I have to look, but I'm pretty sure there was some epochs here on the daily. And this is going to be a pretty nice little zone here, right at 6,100. So that'll be the next levels that I play here. Maybe, go above here. You have the 5987, 626 to kind of 33 zone, and then pretty much they can rip it from here higher. I wouldn't challenge them too much on that. And I don't even have to trade, to be honest, tomorrow. I did pretty well. Just I lost on 5 MES, I think like 15 points, but I made almost 60 points on 2 ES contracts. So all good by me. If they want to gap it up, that's fine. I'll let them run it. But unbelievable stuff that we're seeing. Did anyone else have earnings, or was just Nvidia that was a big boy? Well, Nvidia didn't even gap that much, guys. Nvidia went to 143. I mean, that's not a massive gap.
Yeah, but there was some news of a court saying the Trump tariffs were illegal and blocking everything from Liberation Day. That's what caused the pump.
Can court decide anything about tariffs? That's funny. I know. Well, I mean, we just got to play what's in front of us. And for me, I'm going to watch for that PDH, right? Because if you think about the inventory is super duper long, right? And if it's super long, I would expect that they give us some sort of retest tomorrow. Let me see here. Let me just go to regular. Yeah, I mean, it's really going to be about the 52. And if you guys remember, we have that the 56 to 60 range. If they're able to come back here, that also might be a pretty good long here. Right, so I wouldn't be stuck on the PDH, but they, it might just be a magnet if they do that. They bring it back down to 52, but we got to be aware of this level right here. And they're above the first sig here, so I honestly think they're now. If you draw the 2 sigs here, and if you draw your PVPs, right? So I'll show you. Let's go. So, well, look at the value areas here. They did not want to lose that one. All right, so this is our sig one. Make sure this is TH. It's a little bit lower. 71. This includes this data for this week, just FYI. Okay, and this is our 2 sig. I'm just marking these logs, guys. So if you look at this is your zones, right? I mean, tomorrow, let's say, if they're not able to hold this level here with the latest information that we have, then you're most likely targeting somewhere around here to be revisited in a very short term. Right? They peak above, they lose this level, and then you're looking for short opportunities, right? This is a balance, and you're trading the bracket. Unless tomorrow we crack and we don't really look back, we come back for a retest, and that 87 level holds or whatever that was here, then it changes the game, right? So we'll see how they behave. But as of right now, even looking at this prematurely, right, overnight, they had some sellers show up and they pushed the price down twice, and now they're attempting the third time to see if they can absorb it. But the values are stacking lower. I don't know if you guys are noticing on the weekly, right? You have a value shift lower, and then you have a lot of bad auction here, guys. In terms of this week, this is a very tight value area. Obviously, somehow they rejected this bottom part of the value and they shifted it to the higher top quadrant where they sold off from, and now they're running. I just want to see if they fade it tomorrow. And I don't know, with the news you guys just mentioned about with the ports or whatnot, how's that going to play out? But we just got to watch this level. Do they lose this zone? If they do, we're looking for some puts, and that'll be a pretty decent drop. All right. Any questions from anyone? You guys took that long earlier. I don't know if anyone did on the call, but it was a pretty good long. And if you made money, you're better off not trading tomorrow than giving that money back, because if it's going to be pretty volatile, there's going to be people taking profits most likely. It's going to be also a month-end rebalancing that's occurring. I would say, is tomorrow Thursday or Friday? Oh shit, it's Thursday. I thought it was Friday tomorrow. Never mind. Well, save that comment for Friday. I thought it was Friday tomorrow. The day ahead. So we'll see what happens. I think there's some news tomorrow, and for some reason I can't bring it up here. It's not working, but I'm pretty certain there's some news tomorrow, and I'll check what it is and see in the morning. But we have to see if they fade that move. And the video didn't really pump that much. To me, this is not a major pump on the video. That a couple of points up. That's not extraordinary here. 141. That's not huge. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'll trade in the morning and see what we got. If we don't find good setups, I'm not going to force it, just because I have pretty good profits in my hand right now, just because the overnight. I was lucky enough to catch it as they're about to pop, and we got in about 20 and a quarter. And the rest, they ran up to the targets that we had. I didn't anticipate them to run it, past 60 here. And then from 60, they ran at another 40 points here to the upside. So it would have been nice if I could have caught it all, but hey, I'll take what they give. All right. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty.
Cheers.
You, Shorty.